Hello, welcome to another Sunday here on Pagan Perspective. I'm your host Austin, and this week we're discussing solitary versus coven work. So, for those of you who don't know, today marks the birth of Gerald Gardner. He was born in 1884. He was the founder of the Gardnerian tradition of Wicca. And those of us maybe not associated with the Gardnerian tradition or even with Wicca at all have a lot to attribute to Mr. Gardner. He helped move witchcraft into the popular culture and gain ground in removing the laws that were inhibiting the practice of traditional religions and witchcraft in Europe and also around the world, which culminated with the final law, anti-witchcraft law, in England being repealed on the 22nd of this month in 1951. I'm getting this information from a great new resource that I got. It is the Witch's Date Book. I don't know if you can see this here. I got it a couple weeks ago. It's a great resource. I actually pre-ordered the 2011 copy. It's got some good information, keep track of signs, sun sign, moon signs, dates, important dates as they relate to Wicca and witchcraft, as well as national holidays, things like that. In America, I don't know if the UK or any other countries have a similar version. It's a good resource, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's got its flaws, but it's a good resource to have around. Okay, so when it comes to this issue, most of my experience is on the solitary side. I have done a little bit of group work, although not been a member of, per se, an actual coven, like a hardcore, this is how it works, structured type atmosphere. I've done work with friends, with other solitaries, with open circles, things like that, but not in the same sense as a coven. I pretty much agree with everything that has already been said this week. For me, I think that there are pros and cons to starting both ways. I feel that as a solitary, I feel that when starting as a solitary, unless you're really proactive about getting out there and learning and asking questions and finding books and resources, you don't really have the opportunity to learn from elders or learn from people who are more experienced than you, like you would if you were, in a coven. The internet has kind of bridged that gap a little bit. We have the YouTube community. I know elders on here that I can send messages to and ask them their opinions and how they feel on certain things, or I can ask you guys where to go to find certain information or anything I might need. So it's kind of bridged the gap a little bit. And if you think about it, possibly YouTube is an extension of, maybe a more loosely put together coven or working group, because we do share a lot, we do ask questions, we do learn from each other. And also with that, if you start in a coven, then you might not have that opportunity to spend the time researching and learning and growing for yourself. I think there's a lot to be said for learning how to get out there and do things for yourself without relying on others, without knowing that you can just pick up the phone and call your priestess or your priest and ask a question and have it instantly answered. There's a lot of value to doing things for yourself. And I think that some of the people who I've met who have been in covens their entire lives or started in covens and solely work within the organization of an established coven oftentimes don't really have as much going personally. Not to say that that's always the case, but I think it's easier to kind of rely on the collective, to lean a little bit on the knowledge of others rather than cultivating a knowledge for yourself. As a solitary, there's no one other than you. You have to really start and build there. And if you've been watching my Sunday videos for the last couple weeks, that's kind of where my mind is right now. Everything has been, with love, with nature, everything. It starts within you and then builds out. So I think that, starting as a solitary, really, for me at least, is the right way to go. Building the knowledge, building the assurity in oneself, and then transferring that and taking that into group work. But those of you who know me definitely know that I'm never one of those elitist witches. And you find them out there, unfortunately, who think that, you can only practice if you are a part of a group, or perhaps if you only read this author, or perhaps if you only do this thing. But we all know that's not true. So if practicing in a group is something that you're just not interested in, it doesn't work for you, you would rather, blaze your own trail, then there's a lot of value to that. I don't think that anyone really has any gain by telling you what you should be doing or what you should not be doing. They're just wasting their energy. And typically when I run across people who feel that the only way to practice is in a coven, or the only way to practice is X, or the only author to read is X, then I generally, in some ways, I kind of mark that person off my list of people I would talk to again. Because I think that someone who's wasting their energy telling other people how to believe or how to practice, or that sort of thing, is wasting their energy. And if they're wasting their energy, then what do they have left? So those are my thoughts on solitary versus coven or group practice. I will see you all next Sunday, and until then, bye.